Starting with her parents, Steve and Carla Plummer, number 24, Leah Plummer. Leah is planning on attending Indiana University and majoring in nursing. Next up, with her parents, Tanya and Rachel Villanueva, and Gary and Patty Berkner, number 34, Becca Villanueva. Becca is attending Lake Superior State University and majoring in biology or chemistry. Ladies and gentlemen, one more round of applause for our seniors and their parents. We would like to direct your attention now to the northern portion of the floor. Tonight has been designated as our Northwest Allen Teacher Recognition Night. On the floor in front of you are teachers selected by our varsity girls and varsity boys basketball players. These teacher representatives of all the teachers of the 7 Northwest Allen elementary schools, 2 middle schools, and Carroll High School. We'll begin by reading what each of the players wrote about their favorite and most influential teacher, and have that athlete join them on the floor. The teachers don't know who wrote these statements about them, so let's begin. We start off with a teacher that was chosen by 2 different Charger players. Mrs. Burrow was the most influential teacher because she taught me how to become a better student. I always looked forward to her class every day while I was a 6th grader at Maple Creek. Mrs. Burrow is a great person to be around and has a great personality. She teaches 6th grade math at Maple Creek and was selected as sophomore girls basketball player Callie Geiger as her most influential and favorite teacher in Northwest Allen County School. Callie attended Cedar Canyon Elementary and Maple Creek Middle School. Also choosing Mrs. Burrow was senior Becca Villanueva. Becca attended Perry Hill and Maple Creek. She writes, Mrs. Burrow was one of my favorite teachers in the Northwest Allen County Schools community. Seems like just yesterday I had her for 6th grade math, and now here I am as a senior. She was one of those teachers who loved her job and wanted to make the students' time in the classroom enjoyable. Not one time did she walk into the classroom without a smile, and for that I am forever thankful. Teachers like her make learning so much more entertaining and make the school day a little less boring. She was always willing to help me and had the passion of helping others. I'm truly blessed to have had you as a teacher. Thank you for everything. Mrs. Burrow. Mrs. McNeese teaches 8th grade science at Carroll Middle School and has been teaching for 14 years. She was chosen by sophomore David Ezja. David writes, although I got in trouble a lot in Mrs. McNeese's class, she made me become who I am today by not taking it easy on me and always pushing me and never giving up on me. Because of Mrs. McNeese, I'm a lot more mature in high school, and I appreciate her for that. David attended Eel River Elementary and Carroll Middle School. Mrs. McNeese. Mr. Pearson has been selected by a couple of our varsity players. First, Mr. Pearson was the most influential to me because during his theater arts class, he helped me to step out of my comfort zone and it ended up being my favorite class. In addition, he is one of the funniest teachers I've ever had. Mr. Pearson was chosen by sophomore boys basketball player Dan McKeeman, who is ill this evening and not here. Dan attended Perry Hill and Maple Creek Middle School. Also selecting Mr. Pearson was junior Laney Steckler, who attended Cedar Canyon and Maple Creek Middle School. Laney says Mr. Pearson is my most influential teacher because he's always upbeat and never fails to make people laugh. Although he always takes advantages of his opportunities to embarrass me, I probably deserve it. There's never a dull moment with Mr. Pearson. He teaches theater arts at Carroll and has been teaching for 26 years. Mr. Pearson. Mrs. Barron has made class enjoyable and fun to go to every day. She has made math easy for me to learn. She still says hi to me when I see her in the hallway. She's a great teacher. Mrs. Barron is in the math department at Carroll High School for 7 years, teaching Algebra 2 and Geometry Lab. She was chosen by Junior Dylan Redding, who attended Hickory Center Elementary and Carroll Middle School. Mrs. Barron. Mr. Jones was selected by 2 players. Junior Isabel Dolan selected Coach Jones and is the most influential teacher to me because he's not only helped me to become a better athlete, but every other sports program as well. Can also always count on him to say my name wrong as well. Mr. Jones joined Carroll High School staff this year and leads our strength and conditioning program. He is in his 7th year of teaching. Isabel attended Hickory Center and Carroll Middle School. Also selecting Mr. Jones was Nathan Fish. Coach Jones never fails to make class fun and pushes us to get better. Not to mention, he is the most swole teacher in Northwest Allen. Nathan is a junior and attended Cedar Canyon and Maple Creek Middle School. Mr. Jones. Riley Perlick attended Cherubusco Elementary and Maple Creek Middle School. He chose Mr. Taylor. Mr. Taylor is in his 5th year teaching algebra and geometry at the freshman campus. Riley says math was never one of my favorite subjects, but it was after his class. He made it enjoyable and something I would look forward to every day, even though he is a huge Taylor Swift fan and played her music all the time. Mr. Taylor. Next up to be honored is Mrs. Stetter. Junior Emma Lubyhusen chose Mrs. Stetter because she always brightened my day when I walked into class. She taught me to work hard, but also to have fun and laugh while you're at it. I'll always remember the good times I had in Mrs. Stetter's class, and I thank her for all she has taught me about both school and life. Mrs. Stetter is in her 4th year at Carroll teaching honors and academic world history. Emma attended Hickory Center Elementary and Carroll Middle School. Mrs. Stetter. Mrs. Weishart was selected by Junior Reese Swoverland. Mrs. Weishart is in her 18th year of teaching, currently teaches AP Language and Composition, English Honors 10, and serves as the English Department Chair. Reese attended Cedar Canyon Elementary and Maple Creek. He writes about Mrs. Weishart. I always look forward to going to her class, which was always full of optimistic principles and joy. Mrs. Buron has helped me with my math and has been a great influence. She knows when to be serious and helps us learn. She's a role model for her classes. I really enjoyed being her student. Mrs. Buron was selected by Junior Jasmine Kalanji, who attended St. Vincent's and Oakview Elementary and Maple Creek Middle School. Mrs. Buron is a faithful scoreboard operator for volleyball and basketball games and is in her 12th year in the Carroll Math Department. Mrs. Buron. Mrs. Perkins made biology a fun class to be in. She made me realize that I wanted to pursue a medical career in the future. Mrs. Perkins was chosen by Junior Nate Whitty. Nate attended Perry Hill Elementary and Maple Creek Middle School. Mrs. Perkins. Our next teacher was chosen by 2 different players, juniors Andy Myers and Kelly Damon. Mrs. Rowland teaches 7th and 8th grade science at Maple Creek and has been teaching for 15 years. Mrs. Rowland was not able to be here tonight, but we'd like to celebrate her just the same. Andy writes, even though science isn't my favorite subject, I always enjoyed her class. Her humor was always super funny. She was never in a bad mood, and I always looked forward to her class. I was lucky to have her for both my 7th and 8th grade years. Andy attended Canterbury Elementary and Maple Creek Middle School. Kelly writes, Mrs. Rowland was always in a good mood and had an optimistic vibe. She was insanely funny and always there when I needed help or advice. She's a great teacher, mentor, and friend to me. Thanks for everything. Kelly attended Cedar Canyon and Perry Hill Elementary and Maple Creek Middle School. Mrs. Rowland. Ms. Heater was my first teacher at the Carroll freshman campus I was a little nervous freshman, and she did everything to make me comfortable. She was always full of energy and excitement. I really appreciated all that she has done for me. Mrs. Heater has been teaching at Carroll for 11 years, with 16 total in education. She teaches freshman English and was chosen by junior Arius Jones, who attended elementary school in Wexford, Michigan, and Carroll Middle School. Ms. Heater. Next on our list of great teachers is Mrs. Booker. She was chosen by junior Julia Miller. Julia attended Cedar Canyon Elementary and Maple Creek Middle School. Mrs. Booker was very influential as my 4th grade teacher. She was always in a good mood, and when I walked in the classroom. Brightened my day, and even though it's been a while since I last saw her, I'll always remember her as one of my favorites. She has been a part of Cedar Canyon for 12 years, teaching 4th grade. Miss Hopkins is my favorite teacher. This is my first year having Miss Hopkins, and I loved having her. She is extremely funny and caring. Early in the year, it was a student's birthday, and she went out of her way and provided cookies for her. She always finds a way to make class fun and stress-free. Ms. Hopkins has been teaching for almost 19 years, with her current assignment teaching English at Carroll. She was chosen by junior Macy Miller. Macy attended Cedar Canyon and Maple Creek. Alyssa Kimes went to Perry Hill and Maple Creek. Alyssa has chosen Miss Molinari, who teaches 4th grade at Oakview. Miss Molinari is in her 12th year of teaching. Alyssa says this about her: she was always smiling and had a positive impact on everyone around her. Even though I never got to be one of her students, I always loved to be around her and her goofy personality. Next up, Jordan Bridges. Jordan attended Perry Hill Elementary and Maple Creek. He chooses Mrs. Lash. She pushed me to excel in a class that I don't normally do well. That has taught me that no task is too big to handle if I work hard and stay dedicated to it. Mrs. Lash has been teaching for 20 years, with 8 of those being at Carroll. She teaches AP Biology, Honors Biology, and Chemistry. Mrs. Lalonde is a great teacher that always does what is best for her students. She's very helpful when we have questions, and overall is a very kind and giving person. Always in a good mood and makes everything fun and interesting. I always look forward to her class because she always has a smile on her face and sets a positive mood in her classroom. Mrs. Lalonde has taught 14 of her 16 years at Carroll teaching social studies. She now serves as a substitute and recently concluded a long-term sub position at Carroll. Mrs. Lalonde was chosen by senior Leah Plummer, who attended Huntertown Elementary and Carroll Middle School. Senior Jacob Redding attended Hickory Center Elementary and Carroll Middle School, and he selected Mr. Slofer as his favorite teacher. Mr. Slofer serves as our head wrestling coach, has been teaching for 13 years, and is in the high school math department. Jacob writes, he's helped me so much when it comes to math because it's a subject I struggle with sometimes, and he's helped me understand things better. And the final teacher recognized tonight is Mr. McNeese. Senior Anthony Martin attended Oakview Elementary and Maple Creek Middle School. Anthony said about Mr. McNeese, he's the best teacher I ever had. He made me excel in my math class. He's able to give me a boost, and now math is my favorite class. He is also a really funny guy. Mr. McNeese has been teaching math for 22 years and is currently at Maple Creek. Ladies and gentlemen, please join our student athletes in thanking all the teachers of Northwest Allen for their support, love, and care they show daily to the over 7,000 students that make up Northwest Allen County Schools. Thank you.